Okay. So, are you comfortable talking about the topic for today, which is our wonderful landscape, our wonderful world, where we'll be discussing about different landscapes?
Yes, there is not such a big problem about any vocab or anything,
Mhm.
but I thought we should go with some grammar topics if you are comfortable in that.
Okay, what specifically would you like to discuss in the grammar?
That is beneficial for English learners, that means beginners or intermediate level.
Okay.
Suppose they need to go with basic six topics like tenses,
Mm-hmm.
preposition,
Mm-hmm.
subject verb agreement.
Mm-hmm.
So this sort of things or phrasal like verbs actually.
Okay.
So these topic can be covered.
Okay. Got it. Okay, so let's start with subject verb agreement. I think you would have a basic idea of what it is about. Is
I
it
know,
so?
I know many
Okay.
things,
Okay.
but
Do you want
I
to?
want to I want this topic for this conversation videos. Like if we are conversing in English, what we think should be you beneficial. If we are not having deep or profound knowledge of grammar,
Mm-hmm.
but still we should not commit grammar errors.
Mm-hmm. Got it. So you do not want to actually discuss about these things. You just want to have an idea of them from a conversational point of view.
No, basically, I am aware of these topics.
Mm,
I have
mm,
knowledge of grammar.
mm, mm, mm.
So, can we start with the general tenses first? Then we
Okay.
will discuss little bit of this subject verb agreement.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, tenses, as you might know, is about time. So, tenses tell you about time. And we have different tenses like the present, past, and future tense. But the thing is that even these tenses have several subtypes, like simple tenses. Talking about present tense, it has simple tense, we have perfect, perfect, uh, continuous, and continuous, right? So these have subtypes. Now, think about tenses is that people do know about the rules of the tenses, and the simple tenses and the perfect tenses are relatively easier to use, but we often get confused with the perfect and perfect continuous tenses or with the application of tenses. So I think you must be aware about the rules of the tenses and about maybe the forms of the verb that need to be used there.
Forms, yes.
What
Form.
can we discuss about is their application? For example, when to use the
Yes,
simple
let's
tense.
suppose like what we
Mm,
can discuss here is present tense. Present tense
mm,
we generally use for our daily activities, daily routine.
yes,
If we are
yes.
talking about daily routine or some
Mm,
facts we are
mm, mm,
discussing, in
mm.
that case we should use this simple
Simple
present.
tense. Absolutely. The habits, general truths, or repeated actions, or like universal truth, like the sun rises in
Can
the
you give
east
me
and
some
sets in the
example from
west.
our daily life about
For
this?
example, I get up daily at 7, I go to work at 10, I take sessions at 6. So these are simple present tense. And then subject verb agreement is something that's followed in this tense. So there's no other tense that takes in account the subject verb agreement but the simple present tense, which of course I again think you have an idea of. Like when our subject is singular, we use s or es with the verb, but I and you are an exception to that. So and when our subject is plural, of course we do not use s or es, but this is something that we look for just in simple present tenses, not in other tenses. Then we have the perfect tenses, the present continuous.
Suppose you have given me example of subject verb agreement with
Hmm,
singular
hmm,
subject. Singular
hmm.
subject goes with singular verb means in the form verb basic form of verb plus s or es.
Yes,
Can we
absolutely.
go with some example here?
For example, he goes to school at 10, or she dances really well. Uh, he goes to the university, or
But
It leaves as soon as, yeah,
hmm, if we are using these words like Ram and Sham,
yeah, we'll use S or ES.
both go to school.
Both go to school,
Why we
correct?
are not using goes?
Because Ram and Sham are more than one. These are two people. We're saying both. So that makes it plural.
So, what are the other application of the subject verb agreement? Like if we talk about the simple present.
So for when you're taking the name of a person or the name of a thing, for example, the clocks, as soon as the clock strikes 12, we leave. So whether it's a living thing, non-living thing, it's a common noun, it's a proper noun, we will use S or ES until it is I or you. And whether it's also pronoun like he, she, it, we will use the S or ES. And that's pretty much it about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you be a little louder? Though I am able
Okay.
to hear
I'm
you, but still
I'm so
you are
sorry.
speaking very
Sure.
softly.
Is it audible to you now?
Yes, better than before.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Is there something else about it that you would like to know?
No, let's move to simple past then.
The simple past tense. Okay. So it's just the simple present tense, just like it in the past tense. So we use subject, second form of the verb, and object. And it's used for the actions that have been completed in the past, like he went to school yesterday. Or if you're talking about habits in the past, for example, if I ask you to tell me about your routine in your school life or in your college life, you're going to do that in the simple past tense. So that is the application of the past tense, and we do not use subject verb agreement over here because it's the second form of the verb. Yeah. And they,
So,
yeah,
like whenever we talk about day gone by, like
the
past,
day that has passed. Yes,
so
absolutely.
we will use past tense.
Yes,
I
absolutely.
went to the market yesterday.
Yes,
I bought this sari a week ago.
yes.
Yes.
I went to
Today,
visit Manali uh,
yes.
a couple of months back.
I did this homework on Sunday.
Yes, absolutely.
Last Sunday, we can say.
Yeah. Or I ate my food a couple of minutes back. That's also past tense. So if it's something that's happened this day only, but in the past, you can say it in the past tense as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So why can't we use this? I have taken my breakfast or I had breakfast. What is the difference here?
So I have taken my breakfast is fine, but that comes under the perfect tense. When you use have had, that comes under perfect tense. That's completely fine, not at all a problem. But perfect tenses are mostly used when you're talking about two actions and one action is complete before other action, or it is recently complete or has some relevance. For example, I have eaten lunch already is fine, but that is used when it is recently completed. And then in the past tense,
That
it would
means if somebody is asking or inquiring, would you have lunch or would you have something more to eat? Then you can say, no, I have taken my lunch. I am all done.
Yeah, absolutely. And in the past, if you're talking about two actions, for example, they had left before I arrived. You're talking about two actions. One of them was already completed before you started, before the other action. So that's when we'll use perfect tense. In the future, we will use it when the action is completed before a certain point in future. For example, we will have finished this work by 5 tomorrow. So we're talking about a particular point of time and we're saying that it would be done by this time tomorrow. And again, we'll use the perfect tenses.
Okay. And continuous, we use continuous a lot
We
in our
use
daily
continuous,
life.
yes.
Yes.
Sometimes we
Present
often use it
continuous.
wrongly as well. For example, present continuous is just used for the action that is happening right now or like around this time. For example, we can say they're studying for the exams right now. So we can say like nowadays they're studying for the exams, so that's fine. Or if that's happening just right now at this particular point of time, then we use the continuous tenses. In the past, it's used for an action that was going in the past. For example, now we cannot say they were eating food. That would be wrong. They ate food would be right. Now we will use continuous tense in the past when we have some information to tell. For example, they were eating food at 9. Then it would be fine. They were eating food when I arrived. That would be fine. But simply saying they were eating food would be a wrong sentence.
Means if we are talking about past action, like that was happening that time, it should have two actions
Not
in the
exactly
same.
two actions, but it should have some information, some more information. For example,
Okay.
if you are just saying that, I was watching a movie at 9 is fine. I was watching a movie when I saw this happening. So, yes, there can be two actions as well, but there needs to be more information than simply stating that I was doing it. Because then you can simply say it in the past tense as well that I did it. There needs to be some things more to it. And then again, future continuous tense is used for an ongoing action in the future. Like we can say that she will be traveling to Dubai in a week. So that will be future continuous tense.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like if we have future plans, so
Yes,
we will use future continuous for that.
absolutely.
Okay. Can you give me some more example of future continuous?
Sure. Like I will be going to the market tomorrow, or I will be, let's say, I will be going to, okay.
Means, but we have heard that we should use I and we with shell.
So that was something that we believed while growing up. Now, usually what happens nowadays is we use I and we with will. Earlier, when even I was studying, we had studied that with I, we should use shall, and with we should use will. But now,
So is
shall
it
is used.
correct?
See, there are no hard and fast rules in the communication as of now. We've mostly seen that we use shall in the legal documents or something that is of importance, like when we're writing. You must have seen all the legal documents. They say the user shall do this, and the user shall abide to these rules. And mostly in informal conversations, we use will. So that has what it has been to. Or if you are giving some advice, then we use shall instead of will.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So we will be visiting to you tomorrow. Is that correct?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. We will discuss something tomorrow. That is
That's
simple
also
future.
fine. That's also fine. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Uh, we will be going to host a party tomorrow. That will means we are planning for future
Yes, we will be hosting a party tomorrow, would be a better
hosting.
sentence. We will be hosting a
Yes, yes.
party tomorrow. Yeah.
Mhm. So
Because,
these are the tenses like we generally use. So whenever
absolutely.
we are telling about daily routine or the
Mhm.
work we accomplished in a day, we
Mhm.
should use simple present
Simple
means.
present tense. Yes.
And continuous, like if we are doing this some sort of job and we
Regular.
are speaking as well, that
Hmm.
time we should use
Continuous tense.
continuous, present
Absolutely.
continuous.
Absolutely.
And if we are talking about the things that had happened yesterday or a day
Mhm.
before or sometime at the in the past, we should use past form of sentences.
So,
I
yes.
did this.
Hmm.
Yes, I was doing
Hmm.
this.
Hmm. Absolutely. That has happened in the past. That may be many years in the past. For example, if I'm asking you anything about your childhood, you can say it in the simple past tense.
Okay. So
Yeah.
we have like we have discussed tenses.
Mhm.
Other subject verb agreement is there.
Mhm.
Other than this, what is more important to be grammatically sound
I
while
think
speaking?
prepositions. Prepositions are very important, and even in prepositions, people make a lot of mistake in three particular prepositions, which are in, on, and at. And these particular prepositions are used with the time and with the place as well. And
Place.
yeah, and they use it interchangeably as well. So that's something we should have a clear knowledge of. Although there are a lot of other prepositions also, but this is something that I've noticed in my experience, people making a lot of mistakes in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Would you like to discuss about it as well?
Yes, of course, please. Give us
Okay.
some examples, like where we commit mistake and what should we be
Mm-hmm.
careful about.
Okay. See, so let's discuss about it when we're using it with respect to time first. For example, when we're using in, we use it for like months, years, centuries, and long periods of time. So now people often say that I'll do it in uh, like and a particular day. I'll do it in Monday and Tuesday. That's wrong. You can say it like I'll in the month of January I plan to go abroad, or in 2020 COVID happened. Now people say on 2020 COVID happened. That's again wrong. Or at 2020 COVID happened. That's again wrong. In 2020 COVID happened. When we're talking about centuries, like we must have always heard in the 19th century the norm was this. In 20th century this particular king came, or that's the use of in. And when we are to talk about the time of the day as well, for example, in the morning, in afternoon, in evening, that's when we use in. On is used with specific days and dates. For example, if I have to say on Monday I'll do this, on 26th of January I'll go to Delhi to watch the parade, on Sunday I'll take a rest. That's the use of on. And at is used at specific times or holidays or specific moments. Like if you have to tell about a time, like on Monday at 5 p.m. I went to the market. So that's the exact usage of at, or at midnight, at Christmas, or at the moment. So that's the usage of at. Then talking about the place or location, in is used when you're like inside something, like in the room, I was in the house, in the box, in the car, in India, like inside the country. On is used when you're talking about like a specific surface, like on the table, it's present on the table, on the wall. I'm on the bus. That's another thing, like we say in the car but on the bus, because car is a comparatively smaller mode of transport. It's usually personal, whereas bus is bus, train, plane. These are comparatively larger modes of transport. These are public transports, so we use on with them. On the street. And at is used with specific point or address. That's another mistake that people make. They say that we live um, in something and they'll give their address, or they'll say I live on this and they give their address. If you're talking about a street, you can use on, but if you're giving your specific address, like I live here, or if you're talking about like I am present at this point of time right now, like at XYZ park, so you'll say at. Or at the door, I am at. If you have to tell about a particular hotel that you are at, if you just have to say that I'm in the hotel, then it's fine because you're inside the hotel and that may be any hotel. But if you have a particular address, a particular hotel, you'll have to say I am at this hotel. So these are the usages of in and at.
So whenever we anybody introduce themselves, they should use this, use in or at a proper
Yeah,
place. Like I live in India, in Delhi, at certain place means their name of
absolutely.
the locality.
Absolutely. On
So
the
to
fourth
be
floor.
specific means at, and
Yes.
on if more specific, like if we are going to name street also giving some landmark,
So if you're
then we
talking
will
about
use
street,
on.
that will be on. Street would be on because again, that's not very specific. If you are saying that I live, let's say the name of the street is Downing Street. So Downing Street must be a very big street. You can live anywhere in the Downing Street. But usually when speaking about streets, we say on this street. At, now when you have to give your specific address at like house number 10 here and there, then you say at. And with landmark, we say near this landmark. So that you do not need to use it
And
at or
you also gave this example of in the car, on the
hmm.
bus. So
Hmm.
in means you are only able to sit inside the car. In
Absolutely.
that case, we can say you are in the car. But
Yes.
on the bus or on the train or on the plane
Yes.
means we are able to move here and there.
And that's
We
a
can
bigger mode of
stand, we can
transport.
sit.
Absolutely.
Yes, that
But
is why
on that
we are
matter,
using
we
on.
never say that I am in a bike. We say I'm on a bike because again, that's not a closed space. That's an open space. You sit on the surface of it. So we say on the bike, not in the bike.
Okay. And what about truck?
So we can say driving. It's again on the truck.
On the truck.
Yeah, but I'll have to confirm it. I'm not very sure about it.
Means we can use both the things. Like if we are
Mm-hmm.
sitting in that cabin where the driver
Mm-hmm.
sits,
Mm-hmm.
then for that thing we can use I am sitting in truck. But if I'm
Mm-hmm.
on the back side of the truck, we
Absolutely.
say on the truck.
Absolutely, absolutely. So in the truck means exactly in the inside or interior part of the truck. But if it is, you're talking that where your stuff is, where which you have kept in the storage area of the truck, so you can say on the truck. If
Yes.
and that also if the truck is open, not if it is a closed space. If it is a closed truck, then you can say it's in the truck.
Okay. So we have talked about tenses. We talked about this
Prepositions
preposition.
and
What else is
see,
more useful while making sentences?
I
Sentence
believe
order.
that I believe that tenses and prepositions are something that you need to know, and then you should have an idea of how to make your sentences. The simplest form of sentences are made with subject followed by verb and an object. But of course, there are different kinds of sentences that then you can make. But if you
Hmm.
have a knowledge about these things, it would be very easy for you to overcome any small mistakes that you make. But these are the biggest mistakes that I have noticed in my experience people making, and this takes a lot of time for them to overcome this and understand the concepts basically.
So it happens like we all are aware of these concepts
Hmm.
because
Hmm.
they are very basic. But
Absolutely.
while speaking or while we are expressing
Hmm.
ourselves, why we commit mistake, how to overcome that?
Because well, in my experience, again, it happens because we do not practice speaking. So I like to use this example that English speaking is similar to solving a maths problem. You can cram
Okay.
all the basics that you want to cram, but until and unless you put it to use, you won't be able to do it correctly at the required time.